And it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as
The WNBA may have stumbled into its biggest storyline yet. The moment questions started swirling about Caitlin Clark's future, the internet went into overdrive. Fans became investigators, dissecting every clip, every comment, and every interaction in search of answers. Rumors spread at lightning speed, theories multiplied by the hour, and suddenly Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull found themselves at the center of a storm they never expected. Their reactions only fueled the speculation, turning a simple conversation into a league-wide obsession. What began as uncertainty surrounding one superstar quickly exploded into a story far bigger than anyone imagined, and the basketball world could not look away.
Everybody had something to say over the weekend because of the huddle with Caitlin, Stephanie White. We've got Twitter just going out. Everybody's losing their mind. You were there. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just there's frustration. I think we noticed they were trying to pick on Caitlin a little bit on defensive end. She was getting called for some fouls that, fouls aren't fun. She got in some foul trouble. Our team got into some foul trouble, and that's just all it was. I think that's part of the game. There's frustrations that rise, and decisions have to be made. And ultimately, this wasn't something that carried on. This is in the moment, something that happened.
Before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe because this story takes a turn that nobody saw coming. The most fascinating sports controversies rarely begin with a breaking news headline. They start with a single unanswered question. Everything seems normal one moment, then suddenly fans are refreshing timelines, replaying clips, and asking themselves if they just witnessed the beginning of something much bigger. That's exactly what happened here. There was no official announcement, no dramatic press conference, and no clear explanation. Just a series of moments that left people wondering whether a major story was unfolding right in front of them. And once that uncertainty appeared, the speculation machine kicked into overdrive.
What we heard from Lexie there is what many of us have been saying, and that is things like this do happen because people are passionate, people get frustrated, and sometimes it spills out. And in public is certainly not the best way, but this is not the first time this has happened between an athlete and a coach, as Lexie says. Now, I am also going to reiterate what I said before. You absolutely do not want this happening.
That was exactly the atmosphere surrounding Caitlin Clark when conversations about her future suddenly erupted across social media and sent WNBA fans into full investigative mode. What began as routine speculation quickly evolved into something far larger. Every comment was analyzed. Every interview clip was dissected. Every social media interaction became another piece of a puzzle that fans were desperate to solve. The lack of clear answers only fueled the curiosity. Instead of slowing down, the discussion grew louder by the hour, transforming from a simple question about one player's future into a league-wide debate that captured the attention of the entire basketball world.
This is not isolated. It's every night. She doesn't play defense. Why are you trying to draw up a play offensively? Guard your man defensively. Bro, look, y'all know me. I've been on Caitlin and been in Caitlin Clark's corner. But enough is enough now. I'm tired of her behavior. I'm tired of the shoving. I'm tired of the elitist. I'm tired of the entitlement. Enough is enough. Play basketball.
Am I saying Caitlin Clark's a great defender? No, she can definitely be better.
Fans started dissecting everything connected to Clark. Interviews were replayed frame by frame. Roster moves were scrutinized for hidden meaning. Social media posts were examined like clues in an ongoing investigation, and even routine public appearances sparked new theories. As the speculation intensified, the story grew beyond a single player. What had started as curiosity about Clark's future suddenly expanded into a much larger conversation involving teammates, team dynamics, and the direction of the entire franchise.
Let's say one thing about Caitlin, and I sometimes I have to remember that she is young, Sue, and the amount of pressure that is on this young lady, and she's coming back, from her injuries, and living up to what everybody expects her to be and do and whatnot can be a little bit overwhelming. So I'm gonna give her some grace, and she's right about one thing. I know I've been in situations like that before. It's never played out publicly like this was, but I can understand where she's
coming. The conversation had grown far beyond one player's future. It was now touching on bigger questions about the direction of the WNBA, the treatment of star athletes, and the increasing willingness of players to speak openly about issues that once stayed behind closed doors. And right in the middle of that discussion were two of Clark's teammates, Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull, whose reactions immediately caught the attention of fans and added even more intrigue to an already explosive situation. The reason this story spread so quickly is not difficult to understand. Caitlin Clark is not just another talented player. Whether people support her, criticize her, cheer for her, or compete against her, she has become one of the most talked about figures in all of basketball. Since arriving in the WNBA, she has drawn extraordinary attention, helped generate record-breaking television audiences, packed arenas across the country, and introduced countless new fans to the women's game. That level of visibility changes the way every story is viewed. When questions about Clark's future began circulating, fans immediately started looking for answers. They wanted to know what was happening behind the scenes. They wondered whether there were deeper issues that had not yet become public. Most of all, they wanted insight from the people closest to the situation. And that is where Sophie Cunningham suddenly became impossible to ignore.
Everything that's going on in Indiana is set up for Caitlin Clark to fail. All right, they're not building anything around Caitlin Clark. They're placating Caitlin Clark, they're pacifying Caitlin Clark, and they're tolerating Caitlin Clark. I can't imagine if they treated Michael Jordan like that. I can't imagine if they treated Larry Bird like that. All right, I can go on and down the list. I can't imagine if Magic Johnson came into a situation and they treated him like.
Sophie Cunningham has never built her reputation on staying quiet. Throughout her career, she has been known for her energy, confidence, and willingness to speak her mind when others might choose a safer path. In a sports environment where many public comments are carefully measured and heavily scrutinized, Sophie has earned a reputation for being direct and authentic, which is exactly why fans pay attention whenever she speaks. As discussions surrounding Caitlin Clark continue to gain momentum, every comment, interview, and public appearance involving Sophie suddenly attracted extra attention. Fans combed through conversations, analyzed reactions, and searched for clues about how players inside the league viewed the growing debate. The response was immediate. Many supporters applauded her willingness to stand behind teammates and speak openly when others preferred to remain neutral. What made the situation even more compelling was the timing. The WNBA is operating in a completely different environment than it was just a few years ago. Television audiences have grown, attendance figures have surged, social media engagement has reached new heights, and sponsorship opportunities continue to expand. The league is receiving more attention than ever before. And with that attention comes a new reality. Every comment becomes a headline. Every reaction becomes a talking point. Every controversy becomes magnified. What once might have remained a brief discussion among basketball insiders can now dominate social media feeds, sports talk shows, and online debates for days. The spotlight is larger than it has ever been, and everyone inside the league is feeling its intensity.
Of moving on, Lexie was asked, again, questions people want to know. So that portion was a great segue to the next portion, and that is, okay, so what is the relationship like with Stephanie White? And Lexie answers that question.
Slow start for you guys compared to some of the expectation, which has people yelling about Coach White. So what is the relationship with Coach White with this team? How is that relationship?
We have, a great relationship. I think all of us, we know this is a long season. It's hard to win in the WNBA, but ultimately it's early. And I think for us, we fully believe in each other. We fully believe in our coaching staff. And so it's just continuing to show up, put in the work. A handful of our games were less than 5 points.
Years ago, a disagreement or internal team issue could stay behind closed doors, known only to those inside the locker room. Today, the landscape is completely different. A single comment can become a headline before an athlete even reaches the tunnel, let alone the locker room. Sophie Cunningham understood that reality well, and her willingness to address the moment only added fuel to an already growing public conversation. Then came Lexie Hull. If Sophie brought energy and directness into the discussion, Lexie Hull added something more subtle but just as impactful. Known for her professionalism, work ethic, and team-first approach, Lexie has built a reputation that rarely invites controversy. That is exactly why fans paid such close attention the moment her name became linked to the ongoing conversation. Every gesture, every reaction, every appearance was suddenly being analyzed through a different lens. Supporters saw her involvement as a sign of quiet solidarity, the kind that often carries more weight than loud statements. A strong player can earn respect, but a teammate who visibly stands behind another teammate can create a deeper emotional response. One that resonates with fans because it reflects loyalty, unity, and shared purpose beyond the game itself. As social media continued dissecting every detail, theories spread rapidly, and the conversation only grew more intense.
Something where it's like, all of a sudden, Caitlin Clark's never been a great defender. Then all of a sudden, you just say like, come on, Caitlin, you got to step up and be the best defender on the team. She's never been that. She's never been that when she played at Iowa. But that's okay. Steph Curry's never been the best defender on his team. Luka's never been the best defender on his team. SGA is a great defender, but he's not the best defender on his team. But I would say he's above those two. It's like you're talking about a player who's never been the number one option for ISO.
Some fans interpreted the situation as a reflection of a broader shift between established systems and a new generation of athletes. Others believed the entire controversy had been amplified far beyond its actual significance by online speculation. A third group became convinced that every social media post, every interview response, and every facial expression contained hidden meaning waiting to be decoded. Sports fans, after all, have a unique talent for turning a single photograph into a full-scale investigation. One post goes up, someone zooms in, another person notices an emoji, and within hours an entire online ecosystem is building timelines, interpretations, and theories that can stretch far beyond the original moment. That same pattern repeated itself here. As reactions involving Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull circulated online, every detail was scrutinized. Instead of focusing on box scores or on-court performance, the conversation shifted toward influence. Who shapes the narrative? Who gets amplified? Who decides what becomes a headline and what fades away? And who benefits when certain stories dominate the cycle while others quietly disappear? Those questions pushed the discussion beyond a single moment and into a wider debate about power in professional sports media and storytelling. For Caitlin Clark, this level of attention reflects a reality very few athletes ever experience.
So a girl that played 13 games could be the face of your league? Y'all sound ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah, Caitlin Clark's face of the league.
She's the face of the league. No, she's not.
Is Asia better? Of course.
Absolutely.
Way better.
Face of the league.
If they're both playing, people are watching Caitlin.
Yeah. They have a new CBA because of her. Sure, she's moved the needle for the WNBA. Because she's the face of the league. She's just the most marketed. That doesn't make her the face of
Why is she the most marketed?
I mean, there's a few layers to that question.
Okay.
But
we can talk about how she's white, how she's a Fox News darling, all of that, but why is she still the most marketed?
Most rookies spend years slowly building their profile. Caitlin Clark arrived with one already fully formed. Her collegiate career drew massive national attention. Her deep shooting range became a talking point across the sport, and her games consistently pulled in millions of viewers. By the time she entered the WNBA, she was already carrying expectations large enough to fill arenas on their own. That level of attention brings opportunity, but it also brings pressure. Every performance becomes a headline. Every adjustment becomes a debate. Every setback becomes public discussion. It is a unique challenge, trying to refine your game while knowing that millions of people are analyzing each decision in real time with the intensity usually reserved for major controversies. Most people would struggle under that kind of scrutiny in everyday life, yet professional athletes are expected to thrive in it on a nightly basis. From the outside, fans see highlights, interviews, and final scores, but they rarely see the conversations happening away from cameras. That gap often makes even small moments feel bigger than they are, and it is why visible signs of teammate support carry so much weight. They provide context, balance speculation, and remind people that these athletes are not isolated figures in a storyline. They are individuals navigating a shared environment under extraordinary pressure. The WNBA itself is also navigating a delicate balance. On one hand, the league benefits significantly from the increased attention surrounding stars like Caitlin Clark. Greater visibility brings larger audiences, stronger commercial growth, and new opportunities for expansion. On the other hand, that same spotlight intensifies every storyline, magnifying routine moments into league-wide discussions.
Growth. All right. More often than not, in the men's sports, in the NBA, they pretty much roll out the red carpet for their stars, and they do everything they can to build around the star. In the WNBA, which is I've deemed is not a real league. They're an unserious league. Okay. This mythical WNBA land.
On the other hand, increased visibility also brings increased scrutiny. Every decision is analyzed more closely. Every controversy receives wider coverage. Every disagreement is elevated into a national talking point. Success opens doors, but it also amplifies pressure, and that reality has become increasingly clear throughout this period of ongoing public debate. Meanwhile, fans continue to drive the conversation forward. Social media platforms have turned into arenas of competing perspectives. Some argue that Caitlin Clark represents the future of the sport and deserves stronger institutional support. Others insist that all players should be evaluated equally, regardless of popularity or media attention. The intensity of those debates reflects just how much influence Clark has generated across the broader sports landscape. At the same time, Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull have continued to receive praise from supporters who view their responses as a form of loyalty and unity within a high-pressure environment. That reaction highlights something that extends beyond basketball itself. While statistics, records, and championships define careers, fans also remember the moments when athletes show character, stand by teammates, and navigate difficult situations together. In the end, those human moments often linger just as strongly as anything that happens on the scoreboard.